When their world collapsed, when the flames of Paris swallowed their Grand Master, the only place the Knights Templar could find refuge was Portugal, a kingdom young enough to need them, and wise enough to protect them. This is the story of how the Templars died in France, and were reborn on the edge of the Atlantic. This is Tomar Castle, the ancient heart of the Knights Templar in Portugal. While King Philip IV of France was busy arresting, torturing, and burning the Templars on trumped-up charges, Portugal did something very different. Why? Because the Templars had fought side by side with the Portuguese for generations during the Reconquista, the long crusade to drive the Moors out of the Iberian Peninsula. These warrior monks didn't just fight, they helped conquer key territories and then faithfully guarded the dangerous frontier of the newly liberated Kingdom of Portugal. They were trusted allies, not just soldiers. So when the rest of Europe turned against them, King Dinis of Portugal refused to persecute the order. Instead, he protected them. In 1319, he created the Order of Christ, essentially the Templars under a new name, and gave them a bold new mission. That mission? To turn their martial skills and discipline toward the sea. The Order of Christ became the driving force behind Portugal's age of discovery. They supported ships, navigational research, and expeditions. Under Prince Henry the Navigator, himself a Grand Master of the Order, they pushed down the coast of Africa, rounded the Cape of Good Hope, reached India, and eventually Brazil. Imagine this, a brotherhood of warrior monks, once feared on the battlefields of the Holy Land and the Reconquista, now channeling that same discipline, courage, and organizational genius into conquering the unknown oceans. The Order didn't just survive, they thrived and helped build one of the greatest maritime empires the world has ever seen. Prince Henry the Navigator, appointed administrator of the Order in 1420, used its vast organization and lands to create a powerhouse of exploration. He established a center for navigational studies at Sagres, gathered the best cartographers, astronomers, and shipbuilders, and supported voyage after voyage down the African coast. The Knights and their structure backed the capture of Ceuta in 1415 and the steady push southward, breaking the psychological barrier of Cape Ojader in 1434. Each new mile charted was a victory carrying the Red Cross. But it wasn't just about discovery. The Order of Christ embodied heroic deeds on both land and sea. Their knights fought in naval battles against Muslim fleets, protected Portuguese trading posts, and helped secure the new sea routes. They combined the crusading spirit with the drive for trade and evangelization, spreading Christianity while opening the world. By the late 15th century, the Order's impact reached its peak. In 1498, Vasco da Gama sailed under the Order of Christ Cross and reached India, establishing the sea route that would make Portugal enormously wealthy. Just 2 years later, Pedro Alvarez Cabral, also sailing with the Order's blessing and symbols, discovered Brazil. The Red Cross that once adorned Templar mantles now fluttered on caravels from the Atlantic to the Indian Ocean. The Order provided legitimacy, military support, and a spiritual backbone to Portugal's ambitions. Their castles, like the magnificent Convent of Christ in Tomar, served as administrative and symbolic centers. Without the Order of Christ, the Portuguese Empire, stretching from Africa to Asia and the Americas, simply wouldn't have happened in the same way. For over 2 centuries, they were the quiet architects of global exploration. Their knights and successors helped establish trading posts, defend against rivals, and map territories that expanded human knowledge dramatically. It was a transformation few could have imagined when Jacques de Molay burned in Paris. Of course, no great order lasts forever in its original form. As Portugal's empire grew, the Order of Christ gradually shifted from a military religious force to a more honorific and royal institution. By the 18th and 19th centuries, its military role diminished, and it evolved into a prestigious Order of Merit awarded by the Portuguese crown for outstanding service to the nation. In 1910, with the Portuguese Republic, the old military orders were officially abolished, but the Order of Christ was later reinstated in a secular form. Today, it still exists as one of Portugal's honorific orders, recognizing excellence in civil and military service. The spirit of those original Templar knights, resilience, exploration, and service, lives on in Portugal's cultural memory and in the enduring symbol of the Red Cross. Standing here on the battlements of Tomar, looking out over the same lands the Order defended and from which they launched an age of wonders, one thing becomes clear: the Knights Templar didn't truly disappear in 1314. In Portugal, they were reborn stronger, bolder, and more visionary than ever. The Order of Christ didn't just survive history, they helped shape it. And that, my friends, is one of the greatest comeback stories in the history of civilization.